Hey gang, Spade here, and today we are taking a look at Transformers Prime Robots in Disguise Wheeljack. And this is a much sought after figure. I picked him up on ToysRUs.com along with a couple of other deluxes. And the packaging is a standard card, but I really like the fact that they've gone back to a red and white card. It's just much, much nicer. Now, for the Decepticons, it is also a red and white card, but it's a little darker in red. But I really do like the red and white. Makes it much easier to find. So we've got on the bottom here, we've got other deluxes you could find, his technical stats, Wheeljack Deluxe class, his bio up here at the top with the figure, and then something I really like is we're returning to coloring, or models of the actual figure on the packaging. So we've got this nice looking Wheeljack right there. So let's go ahead and open them up and take a look. And here we have Wheeljack out of the box. Now he does come with two swords, and they are stored underneath of the vehicle, and they fit in on two little pegs that fit into the handle, and they completely clear the wheels. It's a great way to store the swords. Now this mold, or actually this vehicle mode, I should say, is a 2010 Lancia, and I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, a Lancia Stratos. Specifically, it is the Phenom, F-E-N-O-M Stratos, that was, well, let's just say I don't think it ever really made it into production. I know someone bought one, but I haven't been able to find any real evidence that anyone bought any more than just that one. But it is a stunning vehicle mode. And it is a wonderful homage to the G1 Wheeljack that was built or based off of the 1976 Lancia Stratos. Just an absolutely beautiful vehicle mode, and I'm really surprised it hasn't shown up in the show yet, which is a shame, because this is probably my favorite vehicle mode from the Transformers Prime series, or toy line I should say. It's just stunning. The transformation for Wheeljack is probably one of, if not the most complex deluxe class transformations from the Transformers Prime line. What you do is go into the back and get your fingers underneath the rear wheels and just kind of pull, and most of the time you'll be able to pull apart the windscreen as well. And it does take a little bit of getting used to, though. So these are actually going to be the arms. So now that we've pulled this entire side section in the windscreen away, what we're going to do is just push them out to the side as much as you can. Then come up to the front here, where this little black visor to the top of the windscreen is, grab it, and unpeg this white part right in front of it, and then flip the entire roof of the vehicle over until it kind of snaps into place. Next, we'll come up to the front of the vehicle and split the front of the vehicle in half. Now this is really cool. They hid the feet really well. Here are the feet. Take, these middle parts. You see these middle parts right here, where the insignia or the decaling just starts. You're going to grab that middle part and actually rotate it down on both sides, and then flip them all the way around until they peg into place on the back part, or the underside, on the underside of the vehicle mode. And then take the wheel well and the hood and push it up into what will be the knees, and then you can rotate it back or flip it down. And that will enable you, so basically the legs are just about formed. The last thing we're going to do is take what is going to be the feet and rotate it 90 degrees toward the outside of the vehicle mode. And then take the whole assembly and turn it about another 90 degrees, and then flare out these little knee bits. So there's the bottom part of the figure. Now the top part is equally as cool. What we're going to have to do is just rotate the bits that we already split open down, facing towards the feet. And then this is where it gets a little weird. We're going to have to just kind of move these sections up just enough for their pegs right in front of where the head is that will peg into these holes. So we'll start that process by folding this part down, but before we can fold the entire roof of the car down, we actually need to take the head, The head and this white bit are on a swivel. And what we actually have to do is kind of swivel that and push it forward. That way we actually get the head to come into place. And this whole section will fold down and then peg into just above the hips and these two spots where the arms attach. Now that's the hardest part, is just getting that whole thing to line up. And you just got to be careful with it. Then for the hands, grab the fist and the windscreen and pull in towards the figure. And that will lift it up, and then you can swing it around and push it back in. We'll do the same thing on this side. Grab the fist and the windscreen and pull out. And we can swivel around and attach back in. Now we're not done yet, so what we're going to do is fold the whole arm straight forward. Then, holding the wheel, rotate or just kind of pull down the rest of the arm. And that will expose the shoulder joint and the elbow joint. And last but not least, and this is probably the coolest bit. Okay, it's not the coolest, but it is pretty neat. This bit right here, which here's the spoiler for the vehicle mode, and then here's the rear roof line. These actually fold out on a swivel to give us the iconic Wheeljack wings on his back. Wheeljack in robot mode has some phenomenal posability on him. His head is on a ball joint, but it is somewhat limited just due to the transformation. Shoulders are on a ball joint, and then there's a swivel joint that the ball joint is attached to. Then we have another swivel joint for the transformation. The elbow joint is just about 90 degrees, and then there's a ball and swivel joint in the wrists. Hips are on a ball joint, then there is a very limited joint here in the knee, and then the feet are on a ball joint. Even though there are a couple of limited joints, he can get some very impressive poses off. Overall, Transformers Prime Wheeljack is simply an amazing figure. I love this figure. It is by far one of the best deluxes we've gotten in the past year or two. It is an excellent figure. It is an excellent homage to the G1 figure. It just looks fantastic in both modes too. The transformation is so satisfying. It's complex without being overly difficult. And for once, Hasbro has directions that are clear as day, and I had no problem following them. You can pose this guy in such excellent poses, and he looks just so good next to the rest of the Autobots. This is, in my opinion, one of the premier figures you must have in your collection. This is what a deluxe class figure should be. You need to get out there and you need to get this figure. Now, I know there are some folks that don't like this figure, and that's fine. I happen to disagree with them. This figure is one of the best figures we have gotten in years.